You are not a criminal, and you were never part of the original crime itself. You do not plan what happens, and you never pull the trigger or take the money. You arrive only after everything has already gone wrong and panic has set in. When powerful people realize that calling the police would only make things worse, they stop looking for justice. They stop looking for explanations. They look for you. Your job is not violence or threats, because those only create more problems. Your job is erasure, slow enough to look natural and quiet enough to avoid attention. Evidence disappears without explanation, stories begin to shift, and people walk away untouched. Today, you are stepping inside the real life of a fixer, not the dramatic movie version people like to imagine. And by the end of this video, you will understand why this job is often more dangerous than committing the crime itself. Part 1. How you become a fixer. Nobody grows up dreaming of becoming a fixer because the job does not officially exist. There is no degree for it, no training program, and no title you can safely put on a resume. Most fixers come from places where systems matter more than emotions. Law teaches you how rules bend without breaking. Finance teaches you how money moves quietly. Journalism teaches you how stories are shaped. Intelligence work teaches you how information disappears. You learn how systems work long before you learn how people lie within them. You understand paperwork, procedures, and loopholes better than weapons or intimidation. Fear becomes a language you learn to read, rather than something you react to. Your early jobs are small enough to look harmless. A document goes missing at the right time. A file is delayed until it no longer matters. A payment quietly smooths over a situation nobody wants examined too closely. Nobody ever thanks you publicly, and that silence is how you know you did the job correctly. The more invisible you remain, the more valuable you become. Part 2. What people actually pay you for. People like to believe that fixers make crimes disappear completely, but that is not how the world works. You cannot erase something that has already happened, no matter how powerful your connections are. What you erase instead are consequences. You manage outcomes rather than events, and you control damage rather than causes. Your real job is deciding which version of the story survives long enough to be believed. Sometimes the problem is physical evidence that should not exist anymore. Sometimes it is a witness who knows too much at the wrong time. Sometimes it is timing, because truth often collapses if it arrives too late. Courts do not decide absolute truth the way people imagine. They decide what remains intact long enough to matter. Your role is to make sure the wrong things fall apart first. Your phone does not ring often because urgency is expensive. When it does ring, the conversation never starts casually. A video leaks online before anyone can stop it. A body is discovered where it was never meant to be found. A financial trail appears in records that were supposed to stay clean. The first hour is always about assessment rather than action. You figure out what exists, who knows about it, and how fast it is spreading. The second hour is containment, where damage is limited before it grows. Narratives are paused, attention is redirected, and time is quietly purchased. The third hour is erasure, where files vanish, stories shift direction, and focus moves elsewhere. Speed matters far more than perfection, because every delay multiplies consequences. Part 4. The tools you actually use. You do not rely on gadgets, weapons, or dramatic confrontations. What you carry instead is leverage, built slowly over years of favors and debts. You know lawyers who owe you quiet cooperation. You know journalists who need the right story at the right moment. You know officials who fear their own past more than outside threats. You know technicians who understand exactly where systems fail. Power does not come from controlling people directly. It comes from understanding what happens if they lose what they need. Everyone around you depends on something, and your job is knowing that dependency before they do. Part 5. Why fixers fear more than criminals. Criminals usually fear prison, exposure, or punishment. You fear relevance more than anything else. The moment people start remembering your name, you become dangerous to keep around. The moment stories circulate about you, your usefulness begins to fade. Fixers are rarely arrested because arrest creates attention. They are replaced quietly when they become a liability. You know too much to feel safe. You hear confessions no one else can afford to remember. You carry secrets that cannot survive public daylight. Paranoia becomes routine rather than exceptional. Sleep turns optional and trust disappears almost entirely. Part 6. The exit problem. People often ask when a fixer plans to quit, but that question misunderstands the job completely. You cannot leave cleanly while carrying this much knowledge. Walking away means becoming a risk rather than an asset. Those who try to exit quietly often discover that silence is not enough. Careers end without explanation. Accidents happen at strangely convenient times. The safest fixer is rarely the retired one. The safest fixer is the one who is still useful. Let's end with the uncomfortable truth. You do not create corruption, even though it often looks that way from the outside. You simply reveal how much already exists beneath the surface. Every system has cracks, and every institution has weak points. Fixers survive inside those spaces where rules quietly fail. Somewhere right now, a crime is unfolding as you watch this video, and somewhere else, someone is already being paid to make sure you never hear about it.